care of. You look like you need to go to the dentist. You need to look like you need to brush your teeth. You look like you need hygiene. You look like you need help. Tell your man 50 send you an ounce or something, yo.
So I knew I was okay. He sold 11 million records. And he had deals with Jay-Z and them, but Jay-Z ain't gonna never. Dude, I always tell him all the time, Jay-Z ain't treat you like this.
Oh, he definitely like playing. You know, this nigga.
Jay-Z might not even say hard as him.
So we just had a lit. Jay-Z will never take you to a party like this.
Don't complain, but he's got a good life, man. Oh.
Jim Jones definitely picked the wrong battle this time because Uncle Murda is not brushing this situation off in any way. Jim attempted to clown Tony Yayo for saying that 50 Cent takes far better care of his artists than Jay-Z ever did. What was meant to be a small joke quickly turned into something much bigger, opening an entire can of problems that could not be ignored. Things escalated rapidly, and now the pressure is very real. Uncle Murda, a figure who has long-standing ties to both Rockefeller and GUnit, stepped forward and made it loud and unmistakably clear who truly runs things in this space. His response left no room for confusion and signaled that this situation is far from over.
Yeah, Jay don't look
out for Bleak like Fifth look out for you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I just want to clear that up. Hov don't have to.
And then he said he eat his home halal.
You know what I mean?
All right, okay.
I'm chewing halal on my own.
He eats on his own. I eat on my own too.
Right.
I go on my own tour. I just came off tour.
Right.
When have you seen Bleak on tour? On his own. Jay-Z is not a bad guy. Bleak is not a bad guy. I'm not saying. I'm saying to you that Jay-Z was all business with them niggas. When Buck up on his taxes, 50 a piece or more. When Prodigy bought a house and needed more money, 50 a piece or more. Prodigy are paying back. The thing with 50 is, it was business and we was friends. I don't feel like Bleak was Jay-Z friend.
He is saying that 50 Cent has been standing firmly on business for his day one people for decades, with no switching sides and no questionable moves. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's loyalty is being portrayed as something closer to a short-term contract. Once your value starts to dip, that Roc Nation support seems to disappear just as quickly, like an invitation that never actually arrives. Some people are calling this perspective cold, while others are calling it straight facts. But one thing is clear. Uncle Murda was not speaking just to hear himself talk. There is real history behind those words, and that is exactly why the internet is split straight down the middle right now. This situation did not come out of nowhere either. It all began when Tony Yayo made a comment during an interview that honestly sounded fair if you have been paying attention to how both 50 Cent and Jay-Z really move behind the scenes. Tony Yayo made his point crystal clear, stating that Jay-Z does not look after his people in the same way 50 Cent consistently does, showing up time and time again for those who have been loyal to him.
Keep showing up next to down, but that's an indication to me he might have some feelings towards me. That is just everywhere I got an issue. He show up around me. So I mean, you don't get music, because music ain't usually my motivation. My morals come off the curb. So if you see a nigga keep being around nigga, well, fuck when you come around, how your antennas go. So he in a position where he might feel like he did.
According to Yayo, 50 Cent has held him down far more than Jay-Z ever did for Memphis Bleak, and that is really saying something. But let's be honest here, Yayo was not taking direct shots at Jay-Z. He was simply speaking his truth. He explained that when it comes to loyalty, nobody moves like 50 Cent. 50 does not just talk about brotherhood, he actually shows it through his actions. He keeps his day one people on tour, plugs them into television opportunities, involves them in real business moves, and even flies them out just to relax and enjoy life. In return, all he ever asks for is loyalty. That kind of consistency and follow-through is what many people would call true boss energy. Things took a turn once Jim Jones jumped into the conversation, and that is when everything started to go sideways. During a discussion with Memphis Bleak, Jim began clowning Yayo, calling him down bad, and suggesting that he still leans on 50 Cent just to stay afloat. Jim tried to frame it as dependence rather than loyalty, and that move only poured gasoline on the situation. Tensions rose quickly, and the drama spread fast across the internet, instantly escalating the entire situation everywhere.
You know, me from the hood, so people look at Bleak and don't understand the business he's doing. They always look at Jay like, oh,
Yeah, that's why. That's why you got like Yayo talking about, Jay don't take care of it. I don't need Jay to go on tour.
Real smoke hard coke, yo.
Yo, chill.
You look like you need to be taken care of, nigga. You look like you need to go to the dentist. You need to look like you need to brush your teeth. You look like you need hygiene. You look like you need help. Tell your man 50 send you an ounce or something, yo.
You do need
You
that
might
help.
need
That's
2
why-
ounces.
That's why
Paid
you
in full
looking
move. I got a G for every bump in your face. I promise you that.
That's
I
a
promise
fact.
you that.
Why you worried about
Peon,
who?
you broke. You know.
The internet went absolutely wild over that moment because Jim Jones was not holding back even a little. His comments sparked immediate reactions everywhere. But that was exactly when Uncle Murda stepped in and checked Jim real fast. Uncle Murda fired back with a cold, cutting line that stopped everything in its tracks. He said that Jay-Z has business partners, but 50 Cent has brothers, and that statement hit deep.
Instagram comments, because these people are made to break you. They want to break artists. They want to break you. Nobody believe you. I was in 50 crib, no roaches and all that. Me in a little spot, small spot. Nobody believed in that. He playing Get Rich or Die Trying already in the crib. He had half that done. Like, all right. Once this go off, looking like everybody get confused because they don't think that your dream is gonna come. But you gotta, you know what I mean? That's why I respect him. Because we had more of an assist. We had 50 Cent. So I knew I was okay. He sold 11 million records. Even motherfucker, he had deals with Jay-Z and them, but Jay-Z ain't gonna never. Dude, I always tell him all the time, Jay-Z ain't treat me like this.
Oh, he definitely like playing, you know, this.
Jay-Z might not even say hard as though.
So we just, the party we was just at in Miami with the Kardashians, Serena Williams, and everybody. We just finished performing. Great time, right? First thing my man here want to say, yeah, lit. Jay-Z will never take you to a party like this.
You might get invited.
Nah, I don't get invited.
I respect.
What he said really shook people up. The idea was simple but powerful. Jay-Z keeps people close only when the money is right, while 50 Cent keeps his circle tight based on love and loyalty. That single sentence flipped the entire conversation. Almost instantly, the internet started picking sides, with heavy support swinging toward 50 Cent. Loyalty is everything in this argument, and 50 is known for keeping people around because they have been solid since day one. There are no shortcuts involved. In a recent interview featuring Uncle Murda and Tony Yayo, both made it crystal clear that Jay-Z never looked out for Murda in the same way 50 Cent did. According to Yayo, that is because 50 never forgot who stood beside him when he had nothing at all. Those same people stayed down through the struggle, and 50 has been rewarding that loyalty ever since. That is why his circle has remained tight for decades, with no fake energy allowed. However, the internet is completely divided on this topic. Some people are saying Jim Jones is right and that Tony Yayo is simply riding 50 Cent's success. Others are stepping in to defend Jay-Z strongly, arguing that just because Jay does not publicly showcase generosity on social media the way 50 does not mean he is not taking care of people behind the scenes.
He was just like tight with his money. Eminem, tight with his money. So you learn to kind of save instead of spending. 50 encourages you. You get money, go get a house. That's like Uncle Murda. He's down with us now. He was signed to Jay-Z. He got his first house being down with us.
Right.
He gave me my first Jacob watch, and 50 said, yo, don't forget, blow your head off of it. See, 50 was ahead of his time. That's what people...
But online, many more people were annoyed that Jim Jones even inserted himself into the situation at all. Fans felt it had nothing to do with him, and they made that opinion loud and clear. One person commented, Jim Jones running his mouth the same way he ran when somebody put their hands on him. Another wrote, we all know Jimmy is going out of his way to stay relevant. Someone else added, Jim Jones once said he was better than Nas. Enough said. The internet was absolutely ruthless with those takes. But let's circle back to what Uncle Murda really meant when he said, Jay has business partners, but 50 has brothers. That statement was not just slick talk at all.
Relationship like with Jay-Z, who were you to him?
Well, basically, I was his right-hand man. You know what I mean? Beyond that, we was brothers. For him not to even give me time, even to act like he didn't know me. You know what I'm saying? For all that I sacrificed, all that my people sacrificed, all that my family sacrificed. I never knew that it'd get to this. Even label me with some statements or some snitching statements. I think that's about the utmost disrespect.
It is.
That line carried real weight, history, and meaning, and it hit differently for a reason. It came straight from lived experience. Murda's time at Rockefeller was short, and that alone speaks volume. He saw firsthand how 50 Cent operates behind closed doors. There is no fake loyalty and no empty promises, just real action. 50 stays solid with the people who have been solid with him, always keeping it real and making sure his crew eats right alongside him. That is a level of loyalty money cannot buy, and Murda is living proof of that. The same applies to Tony Yayo. He has been rocking with 50 since the early GUnit mixtape days, and decades later, that bond is still unbreakable. Even now, 50 continues to make sure Yayo gets booked for international tours and keeps the spotlight on him. But according to Yayo, it has never been about private jets, luxury hotels, or flashing money. It is about growth. 50 makes sure his team learns how to move smart, manage their money, and build real, lasting wealth. That kind of mentorship is rare in this game. Murda even revealed that he bought his first house after signing with 50, and that moment was life-changing. Once Murda linked up with GUnit, 50 did not just hand out chances. He created real opportunities that permanently changed the lives of the people who stayed loyal from day one and never switched up on him. He kept Murda active in music, involved him in business moves, and publicly supported him consistently. That is really the core message here. Loyalty builds legacy. 50 Cent does not treat his people like temporary coworkers you clock in with. He treats them like family who came up through the grind with him. He moves based on loyalty, not convenience, and that is what separates him from everyone else. Now compare that to Jay-Z's circle, because that is a completely different story. Jay moves like a corporation. You are around when it benefits both sides, but once the business slows down, the connection fades just as fast. Just look at the track record. Dame Dash, Kanye West, Beanie Siegel, Jay cut ties and never looked back. And it did not stop there. Even the person who helped Jay get his first real break received the same cold treatment. Jaz-O was mentoring Jay before the world even knew his name, helping him find his sound and carve out his lane. But once Jay blew up, his energy changed, and Jaz-O was left behind without a second glance. That alone spoke volumes. And then there is D Haven, one of Jay-Z's oldest friends from Marcy, who put in real work early on while Jay was still finding his way. Once Jay fully stepped into that corporate lane, it was as if DeHaven stopped existing altogether. Things turned ugly fast. DeHaven went public, saying Jay lied on him, labeled him a snitch, and completely turned his back on him. That is cold, no way around it. When someone asked DeHaven what his relationship with Jay-Z was really like, you could hear the pain in his voice. To him, it was never just business. It was brotherhood. So when Uncle Murda said, Jay got business partners, but 50 got brothers, he was not just throwing shade. He was speaking directly from what he had seen with his own eyes. Jay moves like a CEO, and that means cutting people off the moment they stop serving the brand. That is the difference right there. It is not personal, it is business. But that mindset leaves a trail of people who once had his back, now feeling iced out and forgotten. That is why you rarely hear anyone describe Jay as loyal. People call him smart, strategic, and business-minded, and all of that can be true. But loyalty is not a word that comes up often around him. Meanwhile, with 50 Cent, it is the complete opposite. His loyalty runs deep, all the way back to his come-up days. The same people who stood with him early are still right there today, and the only ones missing are the ones who switched up. Basically, 50 moves with loyalty first, while Jay moves with strategy first. That contrast is exactly why this debate is not dying down anytime soon. People are not just arguing about music anymore. They are arguing about values, about what loyalty really means when money, power, and fame get involved. Some fans say Jay-Z played the game exactly how it is supposed to be played, cold but effective. Others argue that this mindset cost you real relationships, and once those are gone, there is no buying them back. With 50 Cent, the pattern has always been different. He does not erase people from the story just because the chapter changes. If you were there during the grind, you are still part of the picture now. That is why his circle looks the same years later, just with bigger wins and louder success. There is no revolving door and no constant replacement of people. That is why Uncle Murda's words landed so hard. It was not about dissing Jay or hyping 50 for no reason. It was about highlighting two completely different ways of moving at the top. One operates like a boardroom, the other like a family meeting. Both approaches can win, but only one builds bonds that actually last. That is why this conversation struck such a nerve online. People see themselves in it. Loyalty versus leverage, brotherhood versus business. Depending on how you move in life, you already know which side you stand on. Neither mindset is necessarily wrong. One builds empires, the other builds real bonds. Let's be honest, though one of them just feels a lot more genuine. If you are rocking with this breakdown and want more real talk on hip-hop's biggest feuds and power moves, make sure to subscribe, smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, share this video, and click the hype this video button to help it grow. Appreciate every one of you for tapping in.